welcome to our English news coming to you from Canal, Algérie. To the headlines. The National Consultative Council for Promoting Exportation is set up in line with the President's guideline to upgrade non-hydrocarbon products. Army General Saeed Shinkiriha, Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, is in Russia at the invitation of the Russian Defense Minister to beef up cooperation between the two countries' armies. Tasked by the President of the Republic, the Interior Minister presents condolences to the fire's victimized families in Algeria's Antipaza provinces. And the Sahrawi women's bravery, deemed as a symbol in Africa, is spotlighted in our news edition. Welcome back. First in our news, pursuant to the decision taken by the President of the Republic while chairing the first medal awarding ceremony to exporters, meant to create a council entrusted with dealing with exporters' concerns, Prime Minister Ayman bin Abd al-Rahman set up the National Consultative Council for Export Promotion, which will back the efforts of public authorities and economic operators to promote exports of national products and help them conquer the international markets. This new body is part of a series of measures worked out to consolidate Algeria's economic achievements over the past years. It is part of a new approach encouraging exports outside the non-hydrocarbon sector and confirms the role of the state in supporting and accompanying wealth-creating economic operators. Thanks to the President of the Republic's commitments, Algeria succeeded in reaching $7 billion worth of exports outside hydrocarbons. The next step, according to the head of state, is to reach $13 billion, which will be possible thanks to the new investment law and the measures put in place to attain this objective. More details with Melissa Kabash.
The policy of the President of the Republic meant to relaunch the national economy outside hydrocarbons was very fruitful, according to the last figures. Export operations outside hydrocarbons are witnessing an unprecedented dynamic as it increased from $1.7 billion in 2019 to $7 billion in 2022 to reach $13 billion by the end of the current year. A giant stride motivated by the President of the Republic's commitment, who put the end of economy based on hydrocarbons as a top priority. After his election, the head of state decided to move towards the petrochemical industry and develop industrial and agricultural sectors. President Abdelmajid Tebboune also honored one of his main commitments, which is the diversification of exports with a new economy. A number of measures were also put in place to encourage exporters. Exporting dates, foodstuffs, building equipment, plastic, rubber, glass, medications, textile, as well as home appliances are among the sectors that witnessed a considerable progress. Following Algeria's potentialities, it aims to reach $13 billion worth of exports outside hydrocarbons during the current year. A reasonable objective due to our country's productive capacity in terms of quality and competitive prices, in addition to the political will that aims to encourage national production and increase exports. Decisions largely hailed by economic operators and experts, who highlighted the administrative facilitations granted as well as the opening of Algerian banks branches in Paris, Nouakchott and Dakar, making Algeria an export leader in the region.
One of the sectors that have major potentialities is agriculture and transformed products. This sector has already benefited from incentives. Najah Diyar has more to say.
Diversifying the national economy in the non-hydrocarbon sector is one of the High Authority's top priorities. And in the agricultural sector, Algeria has great potentials to lead in the agri-food industry. Conquering the foreign markets is the outcome of the strategy adopted by the country's high authorities under the aegis of the President of the Republic, with a worked-out economic plan meant to reinvigorate trade exchange. Today, we can have access to the international markets with high-quality products. The Algerian dates, with their high nutritional value, are one of the products highly demanded in the African and European markets. The Algerian dates are exported with large quantities to 75 countries. The medium-term goal is to raise that number to 150 countries with an export volume of $250 million. The exporters of this product exceed 360 operators. We have ISO and bio certificates. Our products are known for their high quality. We export more than 100 containers per year to numerous European countries. We also export to Russia, Korea, Indonesia and Malaysia. The support provided to the Algerian operators by creating the perfect climate for investments has contributed in increasing the non-hydrocarbon exports. The new law allows the development in the export sector. The support given to the investors is continuous all along the phase of exporting to help them be distinguished in the foreign markets. Logistical support is also put in place. Our products will soon be available in Senegal and Libya. We export to more than 10 countries in Europe and Africa. Our products are also found in USA and Canada. $13 billion of the non-hydrocarbon exports is the goal set for the current year.
At the invitation of Army General Shoigu Sergei, Minister of Defense of the Russian Federation, Army General Said Shingriha, Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, is on an official visit to the Russian Federation. This visit, which falls within the framework of strengthening cooperation between the People's National Army and the Russian Armed Forces, will allow the two parties to examine issues of common interests.
В честь вашего прибытия в столицу Российской Федерации, город-герой Москву, построен начальник почетного караула капитан Ильин.
The Army General was received on the international tarmac at Moscow Airport by Army General Alexander Fomin, Deputy Defense Minister of the Russian Federation. And Demirti Shugaev, Director of the Federal Service for Military and Technical Cooperation of the Russian Federation, where the Chief of Staff of the People's National Army received an official welcome alongside the Deputy Defense Minister of the Russian Federation. The national anthems of Algeria and Russia were played. This was followed by a military parade performed by units of the Russian Army. The Army General met in the airport VIP lounge with Army General Alexander Fomin, Deputy Defense Minister of the Russian Federation, and Dmitry Shugaev, Director of the Federal Service for Military and Technical Cooperation of the Russian Federation, in the presence of the Algerian ambassador to Russia. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad, Ahmed Attaf, took part in the 18th meeting bringing together ministers of foreign affairs of the member countries of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. The meeting was devoted to the Holy Quran burning incidents in Sweden and Denmark. Ahmed Attaf took the opportunity to reiterate Algeria's condemnation of these acts and of the ongoing attempts to justify its practices under the motto of freedom of speech. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and the National Community Abroad, Ahmed Attaf, received the Tanzanian Minister of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, Stergomena Tax, now visiting Algeria as part of bilateral partnership. During this meeting, which came on the eve of the 5th session of the Joint Committee for Cooperation between the two countries, and which will be co-chaired by the Minister Ahmed Attaf and his Tanzanian counterpart, the two sides reviewed the Algerian-Tanzanian relations as well as the latest developments on the continental and international levels, in particular the current crisis in Niger, the situation in Libya and Mali, and the Saharan Coast region, in addition to the issue of decolonization in Western Sahara. and the repercussions of the Russian-Ukrainian crisis on Africa, especially with regard to the threat to food and energy security for the countries of the continent. Tasked by the President of the Republic, the Interior Minister, along with the Solidarity Minister, presented condolences to the families victimized by the last fires in the localities belonging to central provinces. He expressed the commitment of the public authorities to back these fire-affected families and paid tribute to the civil defense agents, the National People's Army, and the other corporate bodies for their strenuous efforts in battling blazes. He also paid a visit to Zeralda Hospital to inquire about people with serious burns. The President of the Republic ordered a reshuffle within the security services in several provinces. This move, which was suggested by the General Manager of the National Security Directorate and approved by the Interior Minister, is meant to give a new impetus to the security sector. African Women's Day is celebrated each year on the 31st of July, an opportunity to highlight the bravery of the Sahrawi women in quest of liberating their motherland, still prey to untold Moroccan exactions. Story by Melissa Kabesh.
The Sahrawi women celebrated on Monday the African Women's Day, and by this facing the Moroccan occupier with bravery and unbreakable determination, hoping to snatch their country's independence. The Sahrawi woman has always played a decisive role in the struggle for national liberation. She also contributed to the Popular Liberation Front of الساقية الحمراء and Wadi الذهب. The Sahrawi woman continues to serve the just cause of her country with all legitimate means in refugee camps, occupied territories, and even beyond the borders of the Sahrawi Republic. Sahrawi women have always fought besides men despite the enemy's despicable means and methods used to eradicate their identity. Sahrawi women managed to impose themselves. The Sahrawi women always defended fair causes and fought with strength and determination to preserve her Sahrawi identity, whether it was from her home, from associations, organizations, or even from occupied territories. The Pan-African Organization for Women, created in 1962, paved the way for the institution by the African Union in 1974 of the African Women's Day, celebrated on the 31st of July of each year in all capitals of the AU state members, with a great symbolic value representing the fight of the African women for better living conditions.
Tourism now to take you to another coastal province, namely Taraf, a jewel that shines bright with its transparent blue beaches, clean fresh air, and the best hotels, offering unforgettable moments. More details with Najah Tayyar.
The tourism infrastructures in Taraf province open their doors for the holidaymakers and beach lovers. They come from the four corners of the country. These tourists come in huge numbers to enjoy the calm and the cleanliness of the sea in a perfectly secured environment. It's the first time for me to come here to Al-Qala. The beaches are amazing and clean. Also, the civil defense agents are here to ensure our security. I wish good holidays for all. This place is very nice and all the conditions are met to spend the greatest times. We came to spend 2 days at Al-Qala and it is really fascinating. The coast is clean and secured so that we fully enjoy our time. For the summer season of this year, 2023, there are 25 new facilities, including 2 that are already operational, with a capacity of 6,000 beds. On the other hand, the civil defense agents were mobilized in the province's beaches in order to intervene immediately in case of need. We are ready to secure the holidaymakers during the whole summer season from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. With its exquisite beaches and fine climate and landscapes, Taraf offers an ideal opportunity to let steam off during this summer season.
That was it for today. Thank you for joining us. Good night.